What a wild 2 days on social media. Things are amping up because people are feeling more traumatized, more triggers. There's more division going on. And I want to talk about this really from a cult perspective, because this is how cults divide family. This is how they get started, me versus us versus them. And this is how nations get divided. So last night, I think I'm going to do this in a couple of parts. Last night I watched a woman hysterical because she had been trafficked. And I know for other women that can be very triggering and traumatizing, because the stats are high on SA. Extremely high. And if you don't believe me, go look it up. I think it's like 1 in every 3, something like that women will experience that in their life. I don't have the data in front of me. And if you need me to grab the data, I can go grab the data, because I've looked at this data before. But it's a pretty high number, around that number. And I do want to say SA is really, really challenging. Trafficking is a higher level in so many ways. And then there's also ritual abuse, or satanic ritual abuse, which often involves SA. Now, I want to talk a little bit more around cults. You see, cults are really known for abusing their people. They find a way, the leader or the people who want to be the leaders, find a way to connect into people. They find a way to say, this is your desire, or this is where we agree on being victims. Because they're either showing you how they can rescue you, or how, a lot of times it's really about how they can rescue you, how they agree with you. But there's also some other clues that are super important regarding leaders that want to be cult leaders. And in that, there are some things that become very scary, because what they start to do is, once they get into that position, they really are focusing on divide and conquer, the us versus them mentality. And when it gets that strong, many times when they do the us versus them mentality, people have to walk away for their own psychological safety, physical safety, whatever safety they feel from family, friends, whoever, who choose to align with the person who is wanting to be a cult leader, acting like a cult leader, and is really just being abusive. Now, I'm bringing this up for a particular reason. One, for the book that I'm writing, which I've got to sit down and get back to it. I haven't been feeling good these last couple of days, so I took some time off. But I want to talk a little bit more about this, because currently, and there are some people who agree with this, some people who don't, and it's okay. You can believe what you want to believe. I'm good with that as long as people are respectful to each other. There are some people who believe that QAnon, MAGA, whatever you want to call them, Christian nationalists, are a cult. And there is one head leader or figurehead, because a lot of times it will also be a figurehead, depending on the size of the cult, depending on the members of the cult. And there can be all these little pockets, depending on how big the cult is, of all these little mini leaders, or like a face of it, because sometimes they need a charismatic leader to follow. that they align with. And once that leader's gone, it falls down. So this is also why they'll be very picky about who they'll try and replace that person with. And there's always a lot of chaos going on because the chaos is distracting, even if the chaos is causing more harm, like Doug Wilson. So we're going to take a step off for a second. We're going to talk about Doug Wilson, and then we're going to get back to cults. Doug Wilson is a part of this, and he's decided he wants to be seen more. You see, that's also the other part in cult leaders. Sometimes they'll have these little people shoots off, or they'll have people who are underneath that leader that are doing certain things. So let's take a step back even more. When Trump and Elon were being buddy-buddy, then there's conflict. Now there's no longer, you don't see Trump and Elon together. Those are how easily the conflicts happen. If you were to have watched Obama or Biden, because they're the most recent, you didn't see those kind of conflicts. I don't remember any conflicts where all of a sudden their billionaire buddy or their people who supported them, like at that level, within a short period of time, they're gone. There's just this division. That happens very easily in cults, especially if you have someone who is really a divisive person. So we're going to talk a little bit about Doug Wilson. We're going to go back to him. And Doug Wilson, some of the things he's saying are very triggering, and I'm going to talk about the trigger there.